Welcome back to another episode of TBTV. I'm Tyler, joined by my co-host Jake. How you doing, Jake?
I have had a work day so far, and my work day is now over early. So as soon as this podcast session is over with,
You're free.
I'm headed to AMC Theater, and we're gonna watch probably Backrooms, although we're
Oh,
still
sweet.
deciding what movie we're gonna watch. So
Cool. Yeah, a lot of good options out there. Today we're going to talk about a couple of movie items. We're going to talk about what's been going on all week long in the movie world. Not a lot going on this week, but the main things that happened are pretty big, and I think we have some pretty hot takes. Apparently, you have some hot takes today on some of the topics, Jake.
I don't want to oversell it, but they're takes for sure.
Cool. Well, just jumping right into it. I would love to start out talking about the Odyssey tickets. That's definitely that was the big thing that happened this week. Did you get Odyssey tickets or you gonna wait to get them later? What'd you do?
I'm waiting it out because for me, I'm just not the kind like I can watch it on day two usually. Like when it's a Marvel movie, I'll usually go opening night, like Thursday night, but it's just not that big of a deal for me. I guess I'm more of a casual audience member in that sense. But you had an experience, I believe, trying to get a hold of a couple tickets for you and Eileen, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're really good about that because you usually wait and somehow get into the screening eventually. Like you
Somehow.
you like weasel your way in, but I always build it up to be a big thing in my head before tickets drop, and I knew this one would be really big because so many people are hyped for it. So I spent about an hour getting three different tickets at three different locations, which might sound insane to a lot of people, but I'm sure our audience understands more than most. Like, you got to kind of set it up prep for any theater because there's so many different formats to see this thing in. But I'm happy with the tickets that I got.
So what are the three locations that you did?
So right now I live in Austin. I live next to the Bob Bullock Museum, which it's the biggest IMAX in Texas. So I got one for their opening night. And then I ended up getting one opening day for LA at the Universal City Walk because that's where I would typically go see these big movies because they have the correct format to see it. I probably won't go there. I'm holding on to it just because I want to, and I don't want anyone else to have it. But I'll release it eventually. But so the museum only plays it digitally, but in Dallas
Mhm.
they have an IMAX that plays 70 millimeters. So I got a ticket there for the next Sunday. So I'll definitely see it. I'm definitely going to see it at least twice. If the movie's really good, I'll probably see it.
So you have one ticket to the LA one?
Just one. Yeah, that's all I could get because I mean, this is kind of one of what I wanted to talk about. The tickets for this thing were by far the most challenging movie tickets I've had to go for any movie possible. So there is a lot of hype surrounding this thing, but the AMC app crashed for like an hour. So a lot of people that had the AMC A-list movie subscription had a difficult time getting tickets.
So like tickets, I think it was like what San Fran or SF, sorry, San Franciscans,
Yeah.
the SF theater, the LA theater, and like the New York theater. Like it was impossible, but somehow you were able to find some Texas stuff.
Yeah, the Texas stuff wasn't too hard actually. I got those tickets pretty quickly. But the big I like I think there's about 15 to 20 theaters in the country that can project 70 millimeter IMAX, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe that the best three are in LA, San Francisco, and New York. And those were by far the hardest places to get tickets. Like everyone was going for those IMAX theaters for like every single showtime. Like if you go on eBay right now, there are people who bought like front row center opening day IMAX tickets to like the New York IMAX, selling it for $500 for two. Like it's insane. I've never seen that for anything. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for me to pay $500 for a movie ticket and like Nolan's not going to be there, you know what I mean? Like if Nolan was there, or you had some kind of insider scoop saying, "Oh, hey, this actor is going to be there, Matt Damon's going to, give autographs or something," then it's like, okay, maybe, but like damn, like you could just wait a day and watch it at a movie theater for $18.
Yeah, and a little tip for people who do want to get a ticket, and I've told you this before, but for AMC especially, there are so many people who grabbed like four tickets to that damn movie. And if you really want to go see the Odyssey, like even opening weekend, just wait. If you're by that AMC, just wait like an hour or two before. Just check the AMC app, refresh it every 10 to 15 minutes. Someone always drops out. Like, yeah, that's how I got
Mm-hmm.
tickets to like everything. Like, you just grab the ticket that someone drops because people will drop tickets. Like they're not like the only day they might not drop is opening night. But I bet some will. So
See,
um,
episode 2, and we've already got the D word out of you, Tyler. You said you
I
said the
know.
damn word.
I know. I'm going to try to
I
keep it P. I feel like that's PG. It's not even PG-13.
PG, yeah, probably PG. But
Yeah.
I, audience folks, I remember a time. There was a time when Tyler didn't cuss
Yeah, I never
back
did. I was like, I
back in the
can't
day
do it.
when we were both still living in Louisiana. Those were the days.
I know on here I feel like I still have to I'm sure the F bombs will come eventually one day, but right now I'm still like everyone's watching.
Yeah, don't say fart. Don't say it.
Yeah, don't say it. But yeah, that's yeah, it was kind of encouraging though to me to see just kind of this like you knew it was going to be an onslaught to get tickets, but it's kind of exciting to know that like this is going to be a very hype movie. Everyone's going to want to see it. It's going to make so much money. And also, the last thing I wanted to talk about with the Odyssey, did you like you know it's rated R now, but before you knew that, did you think it was going to be PG-13 or rated R? What did you think?
Man, I was kind of like he has a propensity towards these R-rated movies. I think even was Tenet rated R?
Dude,
Let's
I
Google it.
cannot remember. I want to say it was PG-13 because I think
Yeah, it was PG-13. Yeah.
Oppenheimer was R. But he typically goes for the PG-13. But I was under the assumption this would be rated R. I didn't think he was going to go for the PG-13.
I was kind of like on one level, I was kind of hoping for a PG-13 rating because like I'm going to be moving back down south around like late July, early August. So I was like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
I can go see the Odyssey with mom and Jim and Nana or something. But on another level, like if you read the Odyssey, like we I think we read the Emily Wilson
Yeah.
translation. Like it's an R-rated story. Like it's pretty freaking brutal. And so on another level, like I mean, okay, I might not be able to watch this with my mom, but I could probably watch it with my dad. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
that.
And I feel like with Nolan, when he goes for the R, it's a pretty tame R. Like I know Oppenheimer had a little bit of nudity in it. And I think like some language, but it was, you and I, to you and me, is like, was that even, it felt like PG-13. So I feel like even with
Yeah,
how
you
crazy
can
this story is, it's probably still going to feel like PG. I don't know why I think that. I still feel like it's going to feel PG-13.
with Oppenheimer, you can just hit skip on that one Florence Pugh scene
That's
and
it.
you're good.
Then
It's
you're
a
good.
PG
Like, did your
13.
family watch Oppenheimer?
Mom and Jim did. They thought it was okay. I don't think they were as crazy about it as we were. But the nudity did bother mom because she's like, well, what purpose did that serve? What narrative purpose? And like usually when she says stuff like that, I disagree because like they do serve narrative purposes and I mean sex sells, right? So like it's kind of
Of
unrealistic to
course.
think that
Yeah.
movies won't have that. On that note, it was a little extra of Nolan to add in that sex scene.
Yeah. Anytime I watch it, I anticipate the scene because I'm not used to Nolan doing nudity, but it does
Yeah.
feel very like you did not like that did not have to be in the movie.
Well, I think it's kind of it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and that's kind of the at least for me,
Yeah.
it's my interpretation. I think that specific scene because it's such a fu to Emily Blunt's character, like it's supposed to make the audience feel
That's a good
uncomfortable at the same.
point. That's a good point. Um,
But yeah, so you're glad it was rated R then, the Odyssey.
yeah, for sure. Just because it is, I read the book like you last year, and it's totally a rated R story. I would love for him to commit to just go like super insane with the gore and whatnot, but for some reason, I feel like he won't. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Can't
Yeah,
wait. But
he's
yeah,
probably
oh, go
he
ahead.
might pull back from the blood and gore, right? Because I mean, it's not a war
No,
story
yeah,
in the way that the Iliad is, but the war is kind of like the narrative backdrop for everything that happens. You know what I mean? It's kind of
yeah.
like every story. This is a wild territory for the audience who may not know. I am an aspiring student of biblical studies, so I relate everything to the Bible. And it's kind of like if you read Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, like it's not the Exodus. The Exodus story is in Exodus, but everything about what happens in Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is colored by this previous experience of the Israelites coming out of slavery in Egypt, right? So in the same way, the Odyssey, even though it's not a war story, the Trojan War is like it's there on every page because of what has happened previously chronologically, and then also kind of the trauma that Odysseus has going forward.
That's a good point, and I'm sure he had the same type of thought process. Like you don't have to make this huge bombastic, just like blood and guts, because they played like an extended clip in front of one battle after another in Sinners. I think I was telling you about last year when they re-released it, and it was like kind of like the prologue that he always does. And you definitely do see people getting hit with like spears and bow and arrows and whatnot, but it's not like super gory. You just kind of see the spear go through them and die. So I'm curious if it's just going to be, there was just a little bit too much of that, so it pulled the R rating. But regardless of the rating, it's still going to make money. Like I don't think making it PG-13 was going to have it make more money than what it's going to make.
I agree. Okay, so I have a question about the different theaters, the IMAX theaters,
Okay.
because I imagine that people who would be listening or watching this are probably well acquainted enough with the
Yeah, I would
nuances
think
of this
so.
that they would understand. But for idiots like me, what is like the biggest difference between watching like the 70 millimeter in LA versus the Bullock Theater where it's digital? Like if you're trying to watch the story, appreciate some good acting, appreciate a good narrative, what is like the biggest difference between those two things?
So I will say most people won't care. Like they really won't care and they won't notice the differences. But with 70 millimeter IMAX, you get a much crisper picture and the sound is always better. And you just get more of the image. Like the digital one that I'm going to see, I'll still get that full size IMAX because the aspect ratio, which is like why it looks like a giant square, is 1431. But with 70 millimeter film, you just always get more of the picture and it just looks better and sounds better. But I mean,
Huh.
that's getting very specific. You would be able to pick up on it, but like if I took my mom, she might be able to pick up on a little bit of the differences, but at the end of the day, she wouldn't care, you know?
Mm. That's
So
interesting. I didn't know that the sound was that big of a difference.
yeah,
I've never heard that.
sound is always much better. But the big thing and the big reason why you should always strive for like the true IMAX 1431, which looks like a square, is that you get so much more of the frame. Like I'll show you a picture later, and it shows the comparison of what you get with the 70 millimeter IMAX compared to just like standard or regular IMAX. Like like it goes from like this to this. Like it's insane. And the whole movie was shot like that with those 70 millimeter IMAX cameras. It's the first time a movie has been fully shot with those cameras.
Dude, I don't even know if this is possible, but now I'm like, damn, I kind of want to get a Bullock ticket and then an LA ticket too, so that I can watch that back to back, see the
I know,
difference.
yeah, it's fun. That's why it's so much fun, at least to me, seeing it in many different formats is because you're watching the same movie, but it's a different experience each time. Like the digital is different than the film. You can watch regular 70 millimeter, which is standard format. Like you can see this movie so many different ways. 35 millimeter film, it's fun. Like it's when you get really into it, it's a lot of fun.
And if it were Oliver Stone directing this movie, we'd also get like five different cuts of the movie.
Ah, yeah, the much different cuts than what we're
If
talking
only.
about with Nolan. But I love it. I would love to see all. I love Stone's all of his cuts. Is there anything else you wanted to add to the Odyssey stuff before we move on?
Well, I've got a series of at least mildly hot takes on the summer slate, and I can start with the Odyssey since we're already there.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So, man, like, there's been so much controversy about this movie.
It's
People saying,
nauseating.
"Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I stay away from the social media discourse, even the Reddit discourse. I don't want to see this shit." But from what I have seen, there's the you're it's so historically inaccurate. You're going so far away with like the different costumes and the helmets and this and that. And then there's the other ones, the more right wing side of the internetosphere, where they're like, oh, there's a black person in this movie. Oh, there's an Asian
That's the
person in
worst.
this movie.
Yep. Yep.
They're just like, woke Nolan. Nolan's gone woke, go broke.
Even Elon
So
Musk, like he's chimed in, to talk about how, yeah.
it's just like it says so much more about them than like anything Nolan or the audience even. So there's that side of things that are divisive, but man, a lot of times when there's some new movie coming out, there's this kind of discourse will happen where it's like there's people are judging a book by its cover. People have opinions just because they want to stoke outrage and get clicks or whatever. I have a sneaky feeling that whether for those reasons that we just said or for other reasons like more innate to the movie itself, I don't think it's going to be like where a thing where the controversy dies out. I think that this movie is going to be divisive through the whole like until it's on streaming and Blu-ray from start
Dude,
to
I
finish.
agree.
I don't
I
think that's
agree
going to
with
go
you.
away.
Sadly, I do agree with you, and I think it's going to slightly affect the reception and box office like a little bit. I think there are going to be a lot of people who are very against watching this movie because of the controversy you just said, especially like the woke stuff that people are freaking out about. But
Mm-hmm.
because that's what happened with the movie First Man. Do you remember that one with Ryan Gosling? Did you see that where he plays Neil Armstrong?
I watched it when it first came out, and I remember not liking it. I remember thinking it was boring, but that was almost 10 years ago, man. So I need to rewatch it actually.
Yeah, it came out a while ago, and I really loved it. I understand why people would think it's boring because it is slow, but the controversy around that movie, there were a lot of people that came and rallied against it because you don't see Neil Armstrong plant the American flag. They cut to a scene of them standing next to the flag, but there's no scene of him planting it. And
Mm.
somehow that spiraled out of control, leading to a narrative that the director did not want to film that because he's like anti-American. And it was the most frustrating
Mm.
thing like ever with any movie I've ever watched because I had so many people coming to me saying like, "You're not going to watch First Man, are you?" And I couldn't believe that people were like latching on to that. And the Odyssey discourse is starting to feel very similar to that.
Who directed First Man again? See,
Damien
Damien
Chazelle, who
Chazelle.
did Babylon and La La Land, like just a normal like dude. It's like I don't know
Yeah.
who started that rumor, but it's ridiculous. You know,
Well, I mean, it's kind of silly because I mean, Neil Armstrong is like one of the quintessential American heroes. You're making a
yeah,
movie about him, and you want to say like, "Oh, this director's a communist," or whatever the hell.
yeah. No,
So,
it's hard.
did,
Yeah,
did he ever like address that controversy?
I can't remember. I feel like he did. He made maybe like a little statement, but I think he had the same attitude as along with everyone else of like, I cannot believe this is what people are talking about. And that movie bombed at the box office. I really believe that that played a part in it not making as much money as it could have.
Well, I mean, there's that, but then you also have like you have diverse movies that still do well. I mean, look at Barbie, you know. So I don't
That's a
think
good
it's
point. That's a good point.
like I'm hesitant to say it's going to like really drag it at the box office, but even going beyond all that, like keeping that a part of it, but even like I'm sure that there's a vocabulary for this that I don't quite have, but like just the way it looks, like it has this darker look to it, like a very Nolan-esque kind of vibe to it,
Hmm.
like it's like the Dark Knight, Odysseus.
Yeah, yeah.
I think even that in this, I think he's going to still try to do the fantastical. I think Zendaya's playing Athena. There's
Mhm.
the Cyclops. I don't think they're shying away from that, like a movie like The Return would have shied
Oh
away
yeah,
from.
yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be like that, but I just think that because it feels so Nolan, and people have all these expectations and desires of what a classics movie should be, I could really see it just like solidifying the divisions and really making it like you either love it or hate it, kind of
Which
movie.
sucks because I think that like from everything we've seen, I know you were a little bit different. I just thought this was going to like potentially be the one. I know a lot of people have favorite Nolan movies, but like this was going to be like his magnum opus potentially, maybe just like
Mm-hmm.
here, like of course Nolan would tackle this. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm kind of dreading the discourse and reception, but I'm excited for it too. Like I cannot wait to see what people think.
Yeah, man, I would love to be wrong, and like I'm getting more and more hyped for it. The more I wait it out,
Yeah,
I think it's going to be hard to top Oppenheimer as his magnum opus, just because Oppenheimer is such a
it's a
epic
phenomenal
movie.
movie. Yeah,
But we'll see. We got about a month and a half till
it's
we.
crazy. Yeah, it's almost here. But yeah, it's leading into that. So kind of wanted to talk maybe just a little bit about some of the upcoming movies this summer. There's a lot. We won't talk about all of them, but maybe a few of your favorites that you're anticipating. I'll talk about mine. We can start with Supergirl first because I know we have some things to say about that movie, and as of this week, they are really starting to ramp up marketing and early press for that one too, because we are like, I think 2 or 3 weeks away from that one now. So,
Mhm.
what do you think about Supergirl? What are your thoughts? Are you excited to go see it?
Man, okay, so another context setting endeavor. Like, dude, as long as you've known me, I've been a Marvel fanatic.
His whole life. Yeah,
Um,
you've always been like, you have been so strong. You were, as of even last year, you almost did not go watch Superman because you were like Marvel for life. Like you love Marvel.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a commitment to the Marvel comics. Like, I just really love the MCU. I really like the whole idea. As a little kid, I really liked, like, oh, this is like a franchise set in the same world as other It's like a meta franchise. And I just think that's so cool, and it's really is something kind of new under the sun. Not that there haven't been crossovers before, but just to that level and extent, I was just really impressed by it. And then when they came out with Agents of Shield, when I was probably 15 years old, I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's not just a theater experience, now it's a home experience too, and so being able to kind of appreciate it on like the film TV level, but then also just be able to close my eyes and imagine a whole nother world. I love that
The
concept.
best. Yeah.
um, and so I liked DC, a lot of DC comics and characters more than I liked Marvel comics and characters. A lot. This is going to also piss some people off if we got DC fans, but a lot of DC fans hated the New 52 comic reboot. I loved it because that was kind of like my in into the comics as a teenager. So all that just to say, I was holding out against DC for such a long time because it didn't seem like that they were giving me what I really wanted, which was that kind of like multi franchise, both TV and film, all in one universe. I really, to this day, again, another hot take people aren't going to like. I really wanted Robert Pattinson to be the DCU Batman, just because I
For
don't like
sure.
the idea of
Yeah. It makes the most amount of sense because he killed it.
he's so good. I really think like the tone. People are going to hate this opinion. I don't care. You're all wrong. You're all wrong. The DC, like the Superman tone and the Robert Pattinson Batman tone. I think both of those would. I think because they're so different, it makes me want to see them together even more. So all that just aside, I've been anti DC, so that's my bias. I'm putting it up front. I loved the Superman movie. James Gunn did a really kick-ass job, and I think if anyone was going to, I think Superman's a really tough nut to crack. It's kind of like Marvel's Thor. Thor is kind of a tough nut to crack, and if anybody was going to figure this out, it was going to be James Gunn. So, and it worked. And I saw the clip that came out today about Supergirl, where I guess she lands, and Clark Kent is there to meet her, and it looked really good. It felt like the same movie. It felt right out of the 2025 Superman movie. However, all that just to say, I'm thinking that this is gonna be kind of a midsummer for movies. The strong start with Obsession and Backrooms. I haven't seen those movies, so another bias I have. It seems like those movies were good. I trust your opinion. It seems like it was a really strong start to the summer slate. But I'm looking at Supergirl, the trailers, and everything I'm seeing. Like, the clip was fine. I like the clip, but I'm looking at the trailers and some of the other promotional materials. I'm looking at Masters of the Universe. I'm looking at Scary Movie, and I'm looking at all this controversy surrounding Odyssey. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this actually going to be pretty lame ass summer for the moviegoers? I don't know. It's preliminary. I may be eating shit in 2 months, but that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I was really excited for this summer. And it's kind of weird because the movies that I thought would be pretty good ended up like Backrooms and Obsession. Those, in a way, kind of are going to define the summer, and because they are so popular and what they're doing at the box office is just kind of unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
But all the movies that I was excited for, they aren't really getting a lot of great reception. Supergirl, I'm excited. I got my ticket. I like Superman a lot, just like you. But I don't think it's going to be as good. Just everything I've seen from the trailers, you can kind of just tell what the movie's going to be. It'll probably get like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, perform modestly, but I want it to be a winner because I want to keep seeing James Gunn's DCU. come to life. I really like Superman. I can't wait for a sequel. Clayface looks great. And I want to keep getting those, weird movies that he is doing. But I think the only other good movies this summer are going to be I'm excited for Disclosure Day. That's next week. I think that'll probably be maybe the best movie of June, and then the Odyssey. Those are really your only two heavy hitters. Toy Story 5 will make a lot of money, but I think they should have stopped that after 3. I think 1 through 3 are perfect. 4 was kind of a misfire. And 5, I mean, it's cool that they can maybe, recorrect what they did in 4, but there's no way it's going to be as good as 3, in my opinion. So I think we really only have maybe two great movies of summer left: Disclosure Day and The Odyssey. That's my opinion.
Well, I mean, come on, give Spider-Man his due. Give Spider-Man Brand New Day its due.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man, I'm not as excited as you are for it, but it's going to be a massive movie. And I think it's
Yeah.
like, I really hope that's good. I really hope it's good.
For me, it's like even if Spider-Man, like let's say Spider-Man is as mid as I kind of expect Supergirl to be, like for me, it'll still be S tier just because we're finally getting John Bernthal's Punisher in a Marvel movie. Um, which for me, it's that like the TV and the Marvel and the movie sides like coming into contact with one another for kind of the first time. Um, so yeah, to DC's credit though, Clayface looks amazing, and DC, they have the balls to do Clayface. Marvel hasn't really had that kind of analogous type of movie that they put out. Like they've come out with risks, right? Like they've had good risks like Guardians of the Galaxy that really paid off, and they've had bad risks like Eternals, which kind of went nowhere and hurt the brand. As much as I love Eternals, it kind of hurt the brand. They haven't done something like Clayface where it's like it's not a villain like Loki with a decade long fan base. They're just coming out and saying you're getting a Clayface movie, deal with it. you
Yeah,
know,
I know. In the close, it's funny. In my opinion, with the Marvel thing, they did get kind of close to making their version of Clayface with that werewolf short that they did. Do you remember that? But it was like a TV
wasn't a
special.
movie though.
They
Yeah,
didn't commit to making it a full length movie, and I think that they need to take more risks just because I think Guardians was a risk, and I mean it paid off. I mean, it was amazing. It's arguably you know the best trilogy of the MCU to some people. Not everyone, but it's like up there with like the Spider-Man trilogy and like
yeah,
the Avengers. So like, I would love to see them do take more risk.
yeah. Werewolf by Night. It wasn't a risk. It was unique, but it wasn't a
Yeah.
risk. They do get
Yeah,
some
no.
points docked from that because it's so safe to just here's a Halloween special. It's in black and white. You know what I mean? It's like okay,
It was the safest route. Yeah, it was a very safe way of doing like a risky movie, yeah, or a
yeah,
risky special. But yeah, I so those are even if Spider-Man is, let's just say it's not a good movie. Like it's 45% Rotten Tomatoes, critics kind of like it, audience members kind of like it. I still think that's the highest grossing movie of the summer. Like it's going to beat The Odyssey, I think. I think it's going to beat Disclosure Day for sure. I can't really see The Odyssey outgrossing Spider-Man. Would you be surprised about that? Or do you think Odyssey will make more money?
I would be surprised if it makes more money.
Mhm.
I think if I had to like pin it, I would say that they're probably going to make comparable amounts because the hype is real for both of those movies.
No, it is. Yeah, for sure. And like, I don't think when Spider-Man tickets release, it's going to be a lot easier getting a ticket to that movie just because people are so hesitant with Marvel right now. They have kind of a messy track record, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, man, I see we got 4 minutes
I
remaining.
know
We're
time goes by
using
quick. It goes by
we're
quick.
u- we're using Zoom. Someday, hopefully, we'll have better
We'll
tech.
upgrade one day. Yeah, yeah.
But to kind of give the audience a post credits tease, if you will, um, Disclosure Day comes out next Friday, and I've got a hot take about Disclosure Day too. Do you want to save that for the next? The
No,
next.
no, go ahead. Yeah, we can tease it. We'll talk more about it next week too when it comes out.
All right, we got 3.5 minutes. One last addendum on Supergirl.
Let's do it.
I
Yeah.
hope it's good. I hope it's good. I'm not trying to shit talk Supergirl. I hope it's good.
And you'll see it,
I'm
right?
just
You'll
kind
go
of.
see Supergirl.
Oh yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
there
yeah.
opening weekend.
We're going
I'll be
opening
there opening
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah.
Disclosure Day, I'll be there opening weekend for Disclosure Day too. My hesitation, man, it seems I saw the latest like little trailer that Spielberg did, and he was kind of inserted himself into the promotion, and he was talking about how as a kid he was like, well, what if it really is real? Like, what if there really are aliens? And man, like as like a Dan McClellan fan, I try to do this data over dogma approach, as a bring a scholarly mind to bear. And like obviously, I think it's possible that there's alien life out there, but the extent to which people go to try to make aliens real in terms of like visiting our planet, um, it's a bit goofy to me. It's like they want it to be true more than it is, and I just fear that this disclosure day is going to stoke that because he himself, Spielberg, was talking about how like he wants it to be real and he wants there to be disclosure. And there's already all these conspiracy theories on the internet about like, oh, they're soft launching the disclosure with this movie and all that bullshit. And it just kind of strikes me as like, all right, you're dangling a cherry in front of people who want to believe. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
This is a
saying
great
the movie may be good.
this is a great thing to end on because I agree with you. I think Spielberg, arguably the greatest director of all time, just in terms of his track record and what he's done for movies in general. I'm always excited to see what Spielberg does. But even for this movie, I'm excited. When I first hear, yo, he's going back to Aliens, great. But the marketing was okay, and they don't really have like he's using different actors that I'm not used to. And Emily Blunt is really kind of the only pool in terms of like who he's using. But they're trying to do something with the marketing to stoke the flames, of like, are they real? I just don't think it worked. Like they really tried to get it going, and it was working a little bit at one point because there were like online things of like they're gonna release like things saying aliens are real, and it was kind of coinciding with the release of this movie, and there was something kind of brewing, but I feel like the fire's gone out. Like it's just, they try and it's we'll see what happens with them. I hope a lot of people go see it. I mean,
We'll see. I mean, we can talk about this more next time. But like, there was even like one of the promotional like ads that I saw for it. Emily Blunt's character was like, she didn't say the word God, but she was like, why would he make such a big universe and it's only
yeah.
us that are in it? So it's like, with there's been lots of stories in the media about how like our generation and younger are coming back to church and joining different Christian denominations and such. And it seems like they're also trying to like stoke those fires and like, oh, you're going to church this Sunday? You should see Disclosure Day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're kind of
Disclosure
they're
Day
trying to get
viewings
them there.
at church.
Yeah, right. So
That'd be funny. Yeah,
uh
we'll definitely talk more about that next week after we see it because we're both going to go watch it. We have maybe 30 seconds left. This went by really fast. Where can the people find you?
JKH Bennett. I'm on Letterboxd, TikTok, and LinkedIn if you can find me.
Yeah, mine's Tyler Tompkins, Instagram, TikTok. I do have LinkedIn, but I don't use it. Just find me on TikTok or Instagram. And we'll be back next week with another episode.